this is fantastic because it's not only a decent matchup into a tank as, okay, wait.
Pantheon support.
It has to be, right?
Yes.
Oh my god, Pantheon Sejuani is insane because you can use the Empower W to immediately proc the permafrost with the extra.
Was so calculated, and this just feels like another demonstration of their preparation coming into this quarterfinals.
It really does. It also, for me, is reminiscent. The Pantheon W works when he has the 5 stacks. If he does jump onto someone, the free auto should do afterwards immediately proc permafrost. So Keem needs to be careful.
Yeah, let's see whether he's going to survive. This is 3 versus 1. I don't think he's looking too hot in this one, and down will Keen go. First blood over to the Rek'Sai, and Zeus is on the board. That giant spell.
Has his Prio in mid, roaming up towards top.
As well comes out immediately, and they're looking to hold them in position. Duro gets into the shapeshifter, but there's a seismic shove. Viper picks it up, and it's 2-0 for HLE. Still happening here on the bottom side. Keen and Zeus just utilizing all of that region and their kit to be okay. That's a... What? The arcade ship? That was insanity here from Duro.
Let this go, or look for a re-engage.
Well, let's see what they can actually make work here as Zeka goes in, puts the wall down, gets out of there pretty quickly. As we do have the Rift Herald going over to Gen.G, and now they're looking for Zeka in the back of the pit. He didn't want to use the flashes. Now Canyon could be in a bit of trouble. Viper flashes away, but it's Zeka that's in trouble. Keen gets his revenge as he takes down 2. This Aatrox just burst to life at 16 minutes into the game, and Gen.G, I don't think they really cared about this.
It was a great demonstration of Gen.G's patience and execution. The fact that they happily conceded, as, hang on, HLE are looking for a counterplay of their own as they set the sights onto Keen. I don't think this is an easy dive.
Yeah, this Sundered Sky item is pretty good, as we do see everyone making their way down. Diving in Aatrox has been hard, but with all of your friends, you can take him down.
Okay, you got Aatrox. Look at top. Gold still ends up basically the same place where it begun at the whole start of the play, but mid lane turret is such a crucial objective as Ruler.
In the Ruler spot here, in the mid lane, will get knocked up. There's the permafrost, and that is the chain CC that we were talking about.
Set up as the fog of war is dark and scary, and HLE have to respect it.
Yeah, and there's a lot more of it now with all of these structures hitting the ground. As Zeus, looking for Chovy here, but he just walks his way out. There's the ulti to start this one up, but the ult from Peanut is not going to put Chovy in prison. He will get pushed out of the way as there's the flash forward, they get the knock up, there's the permafrost, and I guess you don't need to hit your R button if you've got a whole bunch of...
the side of HLE as they look to approach, but there's the TP.
Yeah. Nico's searching out, but you can see Zeus looking to get on top of Chovy one more time. This dragon down to about 4.5k as Peanut goes in, finds the Glacial Prison. This time the Bomb Blossom is too good! As Duro will be able to even get the kill on his opposite number. HLE falling down left and right, and it's Keen once again on an onslaught, and Viper Life Esports, he will be the last one to go down, and it's a triple for Ruler.
I'm nominated.
Just yet. I thought that they were going to go for a sneaky one, as they are indeed. Duro moving in, pretending to be Ruler, as we can see, as they get full vision of this Baron. It's going down pretty quickly as Zeka will make his way over. Teleport in from Keen as well. Let's see whether they can take this Baron, because this could be a difficult team fight. True Shot Barrage goes through Peanut, locks down the Baron. Delight is so incredibly low, but he had the shield for so long. They get rid of him, but can HLE keep themselves alive? Viper cannot, and Gen.G will get the punish, but they keep... Effectively here as Zeus goes underground, senses what's going on. They clear out the way, but it looks like the dragon is going to be started. Zeka gets himself over. Let's see whether Peanut can do it again. The Pop Blossom comes through, lands onto 4, and Delight once again goes down instantly. It's a trade of supports as now Ruler is free hitting. The Realm Walk just to zone Zeka away. They do manage to get 2 though, and there is the root. They get the knock up. Chovy goes down. Ruler is still standing though, and it's a triple for Viper. He wants to pick up that quadra kill, but mainly they're just happy they won the fight. Zeka gets back in, and with a full health bar, I think they should be able to get rid of Ruler here, or at least push him away.
And the last time, you have to use your cooldowns on other members, but he actually went down to like 30 HP, so he didn't get to play the big drain tank, as we're still going!
Yeah, Peanut going in, looking for more power. Once again, it's 4! True Shot Barrage there as they try and keep Ruler out of the fight, but now he's in there. Zeus at full health though, as Peanut going down so incredibly low, and Viper getting so much damage in the fight. Keen finds the angle, but Peanut has the Winter's Wrath, and now it's Zeus going down. Viper at 100, and Ruler will not be stopped. Looking for it, he flashes forward, and it's a double for the Ezreal, as once again he's left standing.
It's up,
but they know teleport comes in from Keen.
Yeah, vision absolutely everywhere here for Gen.G as Duro makes his presence known. Keen spotted with the tremor sensors. Canyon tries to get in there, but he just blast cones his way out. Keen has also found the knock-up onto Zeus. It could have been the mistake as he throws down the ulti. They look for a bit more, but it's Ruler that's dominating. And now it's a 4v5 in Gen.G's favor, and they're looking for a Baron themselves. HLE, they do not want to let this go, but I think they might even have to as Canyon goes in, seismic shove. Not going to quite find it as Duro finds another Pop Blossom onto everyone that was left.
And it doesn't end up working, and now home alive just like that. That might be game one.
Yep, Peanut's back was stopped this entire time. Nexus turrets now lie in ruins. As this, he's trying to protect it, but it does not work. First Nexus is claimed by Gen.G. But man, that was a banger.
An absolute brawl in game one. We have, because Azir, Ziggs, like you think Azir is long range and then putting a Ziggs on top of it, yes, it's a lot of magic damage. Oh, he's gonna lock in Gwen. He locks in Gwen, okay. He says, no, I want kill threat on the back line. Rematch of the LCK finals as both these teams fight for a semi-final spot.
Yep, and as we said earlier on, if you missed game one,
nation of what has been
Keen's running with scissors, and Zeus needs to get the heck out of the way. Snip, snip. One more would have done it, but he holds position. Flash is not traded, as Keen knew that he couldn't confirm the kill. Didn't want to make himself too vulnerable, but Zeus, he's not going to be able to get back to this wave, like, ever. He does decide to do so, as now Keen could be the one to Keen had the scissors out, and chops. A slight lead as far as CS is concerned. We'll be teleporting back as we've got a bit of a scuffle here towards this bottom side. Heroic charge, not quite doing too much as Keen trying to get the damage down onto Delight. There's the hook, but it doesn't quite hit the mark that they were looking for. Zeus still dashing around, trying to find the angle. Peanut making his way in. He'll get the audacious charge. Wind becomes lightning, and he takes down Duro. Keen gets one back, but it's a double for the man on his
finishes, which haven't quite come through. As Duro's here.
Yeah, a little bit of a face check here from Zeus as he throws out the public execution. Duro, he's going to turn up though, and down goes the Ambassador. That is feats of warfare. Just yet, but this will mean it for Gen.G. As Peanut goes in, not wanting to give this one away. As you can see, the Hextech Minefield doing so much work. The flash out of the way, the Mega Inferno Bomb was necessary. As Zeus, it's a teleport overextension as he flashes away back into the pit, but it looks like Peanut might be able to take it. There it is. As they look for the eye as well, Peanut will be able to collect that one, keep his verdict, gets rid of the Jarvan, and now Keen has to be the savior for Gen.G, and he may be just that, as he takes down Peanut first, and then
got knocked out. So Kenya wasn't even there. They didn't get value from the Jarvan whatsoever, as Duro
in trouble yet again here as Delight looking for a bit of an angle, doesn't quite get there, but when the wind becomes lightning, does get the slow. Peanut, another audacious charge as Canyon comes on through, Mega Inferno Bomb, and that is so much damage the Nautilus could not take. Back of the pit, trying to get all the information that it can. They're not going to give this one up without a fight. Mega Inferno Bomb is going to be there. Let's see how much damage it's going to get down on both of the carries into that backline. Is now Duro once again going to be eliminated, but Keen finds the backline. Delight going to be the first one to go down as Ruler is able to do it. Peanut gets in, but it's Canyon with the smite. This time around, Soul Point, some cool shoes, and let's see whether they can win this fight at the same time. Great knock-up onto Zeus as he's trying to dash his way out, but Zeka finds the angle onto Ruler. The Emperor's Divide will find it again as Zeus is able to take down Canyon. HLE, a gorgeous team fight.
Only Chovy is left. Objective, but as I say that, Canyon's making his way down.
Yep, they're looking to fight for the Otacon. They're not going to be able to stop this tower from falling down. Yep, two teleports bring Duro and Keen into the fight. The Otacon down to 50%. HLE do need to be careful. Steadfast presence is decent, but it's only onto Duro, and Delight is already taken down. Viper getting closed in onto Chovy as Zeus looking for Keen in that backline, but I don't know whether he wants that fight as Peanut so close to dead. The Crescent Guard doesn't work, and he's thrown into the sky by the Demacian Prince. Now the Otacon should go over to Gen.G, unless Zeus can do anything about it. It is going to be there, and Zeus also going to get picked off, although he's looking for Chovy before he goes down. Chovy barely survived, and it's Ruler that picks up the kill. Emperor's Divide used defensively here as HLE limp away. Let's see what they can actually get done here. Like you were saying, Cloud Soul going to make this poke comp difficult to play as Chovy going to get cornered here, but gets out of the way of the bomb. They did manage to take him down in the end though, as Viper is untouched. Keen gets in there, he's in the mist looking for Zeus, but the needlework doesn't quite connect, and now it's him that has to flash away. A blast cone is going to be there for him and Ruler to stay safe.
Been able to consistently find him with those ults from Ruler as
yeah,
flip the game on blue buff?
Yeah, let's do that. I think that sounds like a fun idea. We've got teleports committed. As now Delight going down incredibly low. Keen is just going to chop him to pieces. The Poppy's not there, but the Emperor's Divide is going to try to punish. He wants to take Viper with him. It doesn't quite work. And now they look to go in. It's a beautiful Cataclysm to break up the Fighters Canyon. Also able to walk his way out. Peanut, he couldn't do so, as now Ruler is trying to do what he can. And the flag takes down the Xin Zhao. Cloud Dragon. Delight off to the side, wanting to try and make this helicopter work for him. If this Keeper's Verdict lands, it could be such a big deal. Chains of Corruption, he's going to start this fight as Peanut. Crescent Guard there to keep himself safe. And now the flash in, he gets the turret, he managed to cancel it! Public Execution is still going to be able to find Zeus away into the backline, but the Cataclysm is there from Canyon to buy the space, and Zeka goes down! Zeus is going to follow!
They're setting their sights on their first inhibitor of the game.
BTPs, 40 seconds, initial highlight Vedi. If any other member was alive, I think they're just cooked, but it's Viper that's still there.
Oh, Peanut gets a whole lot of his health back, but unfortunately, Chovy's orb is now doing is going to show himself. Peanut is alongside him, but that means he's nowhere near the pit. This is the long con from Canyon. Can he find the angle? Duro goes in, but the Steadfast Presence stops it. It denies it, and there is the Emperor's Divide doing absolutely nothing. Ruler this time gets the last laugh as they dive on forward. It's the resurrection here for a Canyon as HLE now trying to do what they can. Viper is still alive with so much damage. Ruler is there as well, but the artillery not quite landing at 3 versus 3 after all.
He's running as fast as he can.
He's going to try and get there as soon as he can, but I don't know whether it's quite going to work.
Here we go.
Canyon needs to hit this smite. He does it. It's taken by Viper. Mega Inferno Bomb gets rid of Duro, but now Canyon, can he find the damage in this one? And he should be able to, but no, the satchel gets him over, and the Q is not enough. HLE even out the Drakes. It's
still down.
Yeah, they absolutely have to fight for this one. This second Baron is going to be so difficult for them to deal with. The Poppy Copter, it gets rid of the job, and there's no smites in here now as the Public Execution connects on a Chovy. So much damage from Zeus as they've taken down already from down. It's Viper as he finds his mark, and HLE, it should be their turn to take the Baron this time. And Gen.G just brute forcing their way in, but the darkness is so scary. These bouncing bombs, as you can see, doesn't matter who you are, it's going to do a whole lot of damage. The minefield down, the satchel down. Now the minefield's going to fall, but Duro doesn't find the hook as they get rid of the Joven again. Chovy's almost just dead before it even starts as they'll take Duro as a consolation kill. And the Public Execution brings Zeus into the backline. 1 versus 3, but he's got friends on the way. And the Emperor's Divide, it shuts down.
Convoys in their base.
Yep, these minions should stay alive, and they've got so much damage to these structures. As Ruler just doing his best. The Baron is worn off. Mega Inferno Bomb this time. Not going to connect. Shockwave is going to connect as well. As Chovy takes down one, Ruler takes the other, and HLE. They're like, nope. Get me out of here.
We're back to Baron.
Third Baron. This is now officially the longest game at Worlds, and it's not looking that close to ending just yet. Satchel is decent there, as let's see what the Poppy can get done. It hits two. It's Ruler and Chovy, and Zeus looks to get in there, and now Duro should be the first one to fall, but no one's gone down yet. Zeka is the first one to go, as now Zeus gets chopped up by Keen. The bouncing bombs are still there, though. Viper is at full health, but Gwen is immune. Chovy is... Okay, the Baron lost interest.
That's through HLE.
Here we go. Chovy, just stop much.
Okay, he's on his it, but still has to walk through the minefield. Now he's at 50%. It's Baron. Not quite so much. And we've got the Hex Flash from Delight. Let's see whether he can buy the angle. He doesn't have the ultimate, but he does have the smite angle. Chovy also now having to deal with the Baron, but they get rid of the Poppy, and down goes the Baron. Absolutely
victory of Duro, which is why Delight has to get back to base as quickly as possible. The Elder started.
Yeah, there's the hook connecting here as it's onto Peanut. Can he actually keep himself alive? As the answer is yes. Mega Inferno Bomb into the backline breaks the shields. And Zeus, he now wants to be able to find that angle. Heroic charge from Delight as he's trying to be a hero. The Shockwave is going to connect, but Zeus gets into the backline as well. Out goes Canyon yet again, but Zeka is dead. And the hook connects from Duro. Stun comes down, but Zeus, I mean, he's Ambessa, so should be able to get himself to relative safety as Peanut looks to pick up the wave.
Despite everything, and you got to imagine after a game like this is Keen.
Keen could be in a little bit of trouble here as they look to take him down. He's flashed, and there's the ulti out of Zeus. Are they looking to just go for a base race just right here? Keen buys a bit of time, but he is now dead, and they've got a minion wave coming on through. It looks like Gen.G might be able to get it done, but Viper is still here. The minion wave is not, as Zeus is looking to stop these backs. He's got a GA, and never mind. They want to go for the team fight. Out goes Canyon yet again. He's magnetized. They see that none of Gen.G are at this area. They're setting up for a play. Ruler goes forward. Canyon looks to get the knockup. He does find it. There is the chain as well. As Peanut might be caught out of position. He has a GA. But now it's such an awkward spot. He tries to get himself out of there, and he survives. He's dodging the needlework. He finds the heal. As Canyon might be traded for this one. Delight goes in, looks for the angle, but they've managed to take two. And now Gen.G, they move themselves forward. Viper's still alive. The Emperor's Divide doing a fair bit of damage. Let's see what he can do. He's got that health bar back up yet again.
Can't let him approach.
There are no minions. As Mega Inferno Bomb deals with that wave, but he needs another one for the next. Zeus is doing such a good job as they look to take down the Nexus. Starts the Nexus is now exposed. He finds one, and there it is! Gen.G will reach match point in the knockout stage for our first best of 5 in the longest game.
Surprised if we get a Kai'Sa here. I feel like they want a little bit more range, maybe. Not that she... okay, they're gonna... Okay. So the only reason why it surprises me a little bit is because while Kai'Sa definitely has poke, especially if you go for the hybrid build, thanks to her W.
Log into your Riot account on lolesports.com and watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds mode. Zeka making sure that he held on to that summoner spell. Peanut could be in trouble though, as you can see, only level 5 for the Trundle. He'll have to flash if he wants to get out, and he does so. Canyon doesn't necessarily need to, and he decides to double back. Viper in a lot of trouble as the Arcane Storm doing so much work. Duro gets flashed on though as Viper looks for the angle. He doesn't get stunned up by the Cosmic Binding, and in the meantime, HLE also pushing them out on the other side as Duro going for some funny business, and Delight throws up the Gen.G emote as Gen.G still do manage.
Yeah. Why are we only on game 2?
Isn't this game 4? This doesn't make sense.
It's not, and it's because of that man, and he's already sitting on the gold lead.
Yeah, Canyon going for another drive though. Let's see, the suppression does come on through as Canyon holds Peanut in place, but subjugation is very powerful. Chovy in so much trouble, but he keeps himself alive. Delight tries to get out, and Ruler with the ulti is going to take him down. It's a double for the Kai'Sa as Gen.G. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're winning the team fights.
A lot of ultis unavailable for HLE, but they still try to contest the objective. Zeka looking for the extended trade. His ulti's coming up very soon, but it's not up just yet.
Yeah, Zeka is able to at least push Keen away, but
helps him to deal with the sign better as well. Obviously, although Radiance is bot, as Keen might be in trouble. There's no ult, and Peanut's there.
Speaking of the Scion, the knockup is not going to connect as Peanut throws down the ulti to start this one up, and without the ability to turn into a train, this Scion is just a matter of time before he does go down. That is kills evened out. As even the traffic. Delight and Viper moving on over as Ruler making his way in. He's spotted on Vision as he gets over here. Duro might be in a little bit of trouble as Zeka coming on in as well. Keen does get knocked up as Zeka discovers him from over the wall. As Zeus gets on through as well. Duro takes the magical journey, but he doesn't have that for the rest of his teammates. It's Canyon that manages to take down the objective as Tempered Fate locks up a couple. The quickness gets into the backline as Delight that finds his former teammate. Ruler stays alive for so long, but Zeus says no. Flashes on top of him as at least Chovy's able to take out one, but it's HLE demonstrating that
Five also blanked on it.
Sorry?
Cosmic Drive, yes.
There you go.
They've got two drivers in the game. It does make some sense.
Well, yeah, I'm just making sure. Peanut behind them.
Yeah, looking for Duro here as he does go for a very short magical journey, but the red carpet you were talking about, Betty, is going to be laid out for him, and the Bard not going to be picking up any
Gen.G can look to do is try and play around. Now that Ruler has hit level 2 on the ultimate, is play towards sides, right? Find the ability.
Zeus moves out of the way of Canyon at least, but I don't know whether it's quite going to be enough to keep him alive. The Impale is going to be invested as he lasts a lot longer than we expected, but that is going to be...
Are they going to start it themselves, though? Doesn't look like it.
Rift Herald is going to be driven into this outer turret. Still going to be able to get that charge. Let's see if Canyon can get himself out of here. Zeka finds the knock-up onto Canyon. That's the smite to be taken down. The quickness invested. And Canyon should be going down, although he does spend some time driving. Delight now, 50% as the equalizer comes on in. Tempered Fate finds absolutely nothing as Chovy flashes to get himself out of the way, but Zeus has a flash as well and a flamethrower to boot. As now Ruler turns up, but he's turned up to a fight that he is not winning today. And Peanut with a full health bar comes on in. Viper finds the kill. This could just be an ace as Keen is still left standing. But
feel like, and this is a very cautious statement, the biggest lead we've seen so far in this series, maybe? kind of?
It's feeling like that, but this is also the biggest engage from Delight.
There we go!
As Viper goes unstoppable, taking down Ruler. Tempered Fate will be avoided, but works as pretty decent. Disengage.
Once that ulti drops, your carry's just forced to retreat.
Yeah, or die.
Yeah.
Yeah, or that option. Yeah, that's the other one.
Zeus might be forced to do the same thing here as
He's
quite able to catch up. He is just looking to run away, almost tries to dodge, but the Arcane Storm, it goes down, and Chovy is able to collect the kill on to the Rumble.
From Chovy though, and that's really all they wanted. Now the backline threat is very real.
Yep, Zeka armed and ready. The Drake is going to spawn. HLE, let's see whether they fight for this one. No equalizer for it. It's going to be Zeka that needs to make that play if they want to make something happen. He looks for the flank angle as he gets the knock up onto Ruler, but he then just snaps back. Immediately, Zeus just holding them at bay, and man, that Harpoon did so much damage as Keen drives in, but it's Delight that takes down Duro to start the fight off. The bottom lane has been eviscerated, and Zeus, he goes into Zhonya's at exactly the right time, and Chovy overextends to try and kill him. They do take down the Rumble, but again, they're happy to pay that price to win this game.
Exceptional execution from
That's a big gap.
That's over 9,000, gentlemen.
I would say that is the lead. You're exactly right, as we're now sieging on this last inhibitor turret on the top side of the map. Equalizer goes down. Canyon trapped on the wrong side of it, but it is just going to mean that this turret falls. The Impale is going to come through Tempered Fate to try and hold Peanut in position, but he's not the priority target. The Arcane Storm goes in, but it hasn't expanded just yet. And HLE, we'll see whether they can clear this last one out. They're not quite able to on this push. They have another wave coming in. The exhaust comes down. There's a great pillar once more. As Zeka gets on over towards Chovy, finds a knock-up and executes in the final from Zeka. Welcome to Zeka's Yone, as it's a double, a full house. Zeka's full of Vipers, and they'll bring us to Game 4 in this best of 5.
This is what we were hoping for. HLE bounce
Listen
back
to the crowd as
tests the potential. Oh, that's the other one I talked about.
Oh my goodness, are they going to do it?
Lock it in, lock it in, lock it in. Come on, Zeus.
Let's go!
Zeus. When
I threw these pick ideas out, I wasn't being serious.
They hovered the on where the compositions don't actually matter. Right? Champion in 2021, in 2020.
Oh, Ruler might be in trouble. There's 6.
Zeus waited. There's a Hextech ultimatum, and Ruler, when asked the ultimatum, he says, I got nothing. He flashes to try and get out of the way, but the flash from Viper, and first blood for Smolder. Well, it's right now just engaging onto this Rift Herald as Delight makes his way over. They know what's going on. Mom comes down, doesn't do much of anything at all, but man, that Achu doing a lot of work. Zeus moving his way in. That's going to be the steal on the Herald. Between Worlds comes through as well, but Chovy takes first blood in the fight, but now it's HLE's turn as the Keen Sante says not today. HLE turns around and slams them.
He's not going to use it?
Well, we'll see. Paranoia is going to come on through here as Zeka could be in some trouble. The Q3 connected and down he goes. Peanut in trouble as well as the Redemption. Going to barely be enough to keep him in this.
Right now isn't great for Hanwha Life, and they basically don't get a do-over. I say that as maybe they catch Chovy.
Yeah, Chovy caught out of position with that Solar Flare. He has to flash as Peanut gets in there. The fear is beautiful. Spiraling Despair doing a whole bunch of work, and Canyon takes down Peanut. It's a 1 for 2 so far as Ruler now just trying to kite this one out. Zeus in so much trouble. So many orbs peppered into the back of his skull as Viper and Zeka now trying to escape, and the damage is just too much. Keen chasing after them. The spear just barely misses, but they're holding them in place. Another spear flies through, and Keen just dashes on top of the dragon. Zeka gets torn apart. Is possibly just dead.
I think it is.
As well, actually, only down to about 50% more now. Oh my god, that damage is revolting. As Zeka caught out yet again, Keen is in amongst it. Redemption not going to quite be enough here as Zeus gets pulled out with the all-out from Keen, but he flashes to try and get away. The Guardian Angel is going to be there, but Delight just explodes with that spiraling despair. Ruler is on a rampage now as he takes down. Doesn't really matter, does it, guys? Because there are 2 inhibitors now lying on the floor. Now we're going to go for it. Into the backline goes Peanut. He's head-butted back and just exploded. Viper doing a fair bit of work here, though. Is Keen going to be the first one to be taken down? Ruler, can he be the hero? As it's Viper gets down so low, almost in range. It's Chovy destroys Delight, and whenever they walk forward, oh my goodness, Zeka will finally find something here in this game, but there is a Keen Keen Sante still standing, and I don't know whether Zeus is going to be enough to take him down, and he isn't.
If it was a 2-for-2 trade, maybe on the
Elder being started. Ruler now returns to the Rift, and that should be the go button for Gen.G to start off this objective.
Yeah, great fear there onto Zeka as he's almost just popped like a balloon. What the heck was that? Almost just one shot by Chovy alone. Look at the poke damage. Duro snipes him with the redemption, and the all-out comes through from the Keen Sante. He wants to go to the semi-finals, and he wants to go there right now. It's Zeus that's able to finally put him down, but the rest of Gen.G catch up, and it's Ruler with the double kill to send HLE home. Gen.G once again book a ticket to the semi-finals, and they're looking to continue their extraordinary run here at 2025 Worlds. And Chovy, it is also our last Dance Chronicler. This was the last time that we're going to commentate together, and I'm so glad that this series was incredible as it was. I want to say thank you for your undying optimism, your extraordinary kindness, and being such a great friend. I'm gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you too. As the fans are not the only ones tearing up. It's an end of an era for Peanut. As the crowd gives him what he deserves. And it was an absolute pleasure to share this moment with all of you. You included, Venny. Get in here!
Get in here.
As the crowd gives...
This was an historic